Hello everyone, David here with Monofit Training Systems, and I am making this video in my car because if I didn't make it now, I wouldn't make it later. I've been putting this topic off, but I figure it's a good time to do it. This topic is going to be Jiu Jitsu after 50, weight training, and recovery. So a lot of people have debated, a lot of people have made the video about, is it too late to start at a certain age and all that good stuff. And having seen many people start even after they're 70, I'll say that for sure starting jiu-jitsu after 50 is really not that difficult a task to take on. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 5 years or so. I started when I was about 46 years old, and I am still a white belt. So what that means is I stopped and started more than a few times. I train at Paragon Jiu-Jitsu in Ventura now, and I have been consistent and not really sure what the future is as far as when my blue belt is coming, but I know that I probably still have a good 6 to 9 months before that happens. And there's a couple of different reasons why, and that's what I want to talk to you about right now. One of those things is that when you're older, you have to be a little bit more diligent about how you care for your machine. And I'm going to put this into perspective and use the analogy of a four-wheel drive vehicle. So let's just say you have a older Toyota or Ford or some kind of off-road vehicle that you take into the sand and you like to jump around on that sucker, you like to hit the dunes, you like to go off-roading, and you go back home, you wash it up, but you never really check underneath the hood, and you don't ever check underneath the carriage. You don't check to see if the shocks are still holding up, if there was any malfunctions or anything like that. So the thing about going to jiu-jitsu when you're 50 or older is that you cannot just do the thing. Meaning going to jiu-jitsu is kind of like going off-roading. When you go off-roading, you must not only wash your vehicle and not be stinky, but you got to also check to see how everything works. And the way you do that is not by thrashing your vehicle, meaning not by just going to jiu-jitsu every couple of days or multiple times a week. You must lift weights. You must do strength training without risk of injury or being choked out or submitted or being thrown to the ground. Yes, you can get stronger physically by doing just jiu-jitsu, and that's provable, that's science. There's an adaptation that happens. However, you're doing that based on the effectiveness and the kind of the efficiency of your training partner. If you get to a point where you're thrashing people, you're really not going to get that much stronger or better, especially if you're a bigger guy. I'm actually not. I am 5'6" on a good day, and I weigh about 160 pounds. So when I go up against guys my size or a little bit smaller, it's pretty even, but the real tests come when I'm going up against either a higher belt or a bigger person that might be the same belt. But there's consequences of doing things wrong. There's risk of injury and all that. But when you lift weights, now you get physically stronger with a very measurable method. You can take your logbook, you can take your workout log, and you can go to the gym and you can practice those different lifts. So if you're benching, squatting, deadlifting, curling, doing pull-ups, doing sit-ups, you could write down your progress. You could track it. If you could not do a 220-pound deadlift on day 1, but on day 60 you can, then you know you got stronger. If you go running and you can run 3 miles in 25 minutes on one day, and then 3 months later it's down to 22 minutes, there's known progress. That known progress translates into confidence while you're at jiu-jitsu, okay? Now with recovery, I should say, as we get older, everybody feels like they're just as young as they used to be 20, 30 years ago, but that, of course, is not the case. What you need to be very aware of is you need to be eating well, and that doesn't mean eating super clean and all that nonsense. It just means that you need to be on top of your food. You need to eat enough food. You need to eat the right foods the majority of the time. There doesn't need to be a ton of sacrifice and giving up all your favorites. But at the same time, if you're taxing your body, you want to reward your body. So that means that if you're doing 4, 5, 6 days of jiu-jitsu, or if you're working out 5 or 6 days and a few of those are jiu-jitsu and a few of those are weights, you need to make sure that you're getting enough sleep. If you're into supplements and you're finding branched chain amino acids or other things that are working for you, great. But one of the biggest pitfalls of being an older man or woman and jiu-jitsu is the draw of competition. As we get older, it no longer should be that big of a importance to be cutting weight, beyond like 3 to 6 pounds or so. I know there's going to be some people that disagree with this, but that's okay. You're probably younger, and if you've been competing for 10 years or so and you're like a purple belt, brown belt, black belt, and you're competing in the age of 50 and you cut a few pounds here and there because you're at that level, great. I'm talking about the white and blue belts out there that are just getting started. You don't want to run the risk of getting injured if you're not hydrated enough, if you're not getting good recovery because you're not eating well, because you're trying to cut major weight like 10 to 15 pounds. That's what I'm saying. Don't get too caught up on that side. Find a good natural weight, and if you gotta cut 1 or 2 pounds, that'll be okay. My natural walking around weight was about 169. When I became more consistent with jiu-jitsu and my other workouts, it went to 163. So that means that if I need to drop to 160, I could do it easily with just cutting out some bread and white rice and chips. And I could probably do that in about a 5-day period without a whole lot of trauma or any kind of weariness or fatigue on my body. I think I'll be pretty good if I stick to that. So I'm not trying to get into nutrition too much. I just want to say that you need to eat to recover. You need to eat to perform. Remember, you got into jiu-jitsu either because you wanted to learn how to defend yourself, you wanted it to be a method in which to get in shape. Maybe you used to wrestle back in the day and you wanted to kind of go back to it. Either way, your recovery is key and you need to eat to perform. So I hope this not only helped those who are already doing jiu-jitsu, but possibly those who might think about doing jiu-jitsu. Now, one more little note. You can tread lightly on all these things. So if you start up at a place and you're going to classes 2 days a week, and 2 days a week is all you have time and energy for, do that. Then now you sprinkle in maybe 2 or 3 days of resistance training. You're lifting weights, you're marking your progress so that you know you're getting stronger. I'm telling you this right now. When you feel good, when you know you've put in some work at the gym and at jiu-jitsu, and you practice some moves here and there, when you're rolling with guys who are half your age, believe me, they will know they're rolling with a stronger man or woman. They will not be kicking your butt. I can attest to this. I roll with guys younger than me. I'm the oldest guy at the academy that's not a colored belt. I am 51 and I'm a white belt. The next oldest guy is 49 years old. That's a white belt. And then I think there's a colored belt, a blue belt that's there, who is, I think he's 47 years old. So trust me, if you're strong and you're past 50, you're going to do some work. You're going to put in some work with some people and you're going to come out ahead. Trust me on that. But you got to be strong. You have to be working out. You have to be doing your thing. You can't just think that this is going to be the only way or the only thing that you have to do to get there. You have to put in some work. All right? Thanks for watching the video. Comment, like, subscribe. There's a lot more content coming your way. I hope you enjoyed it again. Take care, and I'll see you on the mats.